going on, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Grind, episode 19, and it is live on a Tuesday.
Woo!
We can all go back to sleep now. No, we got some stuff to get into.
Speaking of, we need to do our show early tomorrow if possible.
Okay, what's up?
Or have another quick show because I forgot I have a hair appointment at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes, I hate when I miss those.
Yo, this shit's got to get fixed. This is killing me. Because my natural hair is like blondish. So when it's coming in, you can see like when it hits the light, it almost looks like I'm going gray. But it's my blonde with the brown. I'm like, this has got to... My birthday is a week from today, okay?
All right.
We're going to have a birthday episode next week.
Yeah, exactly. Our first one. So there we go. Well, once again, this is Daily Grind. I, of course, am the Podfather, Trey McLean, Trey Mack, whatever you want to call me. I'm listed out there somewhere. We got Presley Christine here with us, which you can catch her on her multiple of podcasts and catch me on all my stuff too. So we're all over the map. We're all over the map, and we cover it all from daily news to sports to politics to pro wrestling. You name it, we grab it all. Movies, everything else, including celebrity
societal. The problems with society.
Yes, the many problems we have to deal with you people. But let's go ahead and get on with the first one here today because we got a lot from you actually today because you sent me a bunch of stuff.
Well, stuff kept popping up last night when I was like just scrolling and I'd see stuff and I was like, oh, there you go.
All right. Well, let's see here. First one you sent me here last night was this one.
Yeah, that's not a very good picture. I'm taking a picture off of my computer, right. But King Charles cancer. I'm curious what kind it is because they said he went in for a procedure because he had an enlarged prostate, and they found it while they were in there, which means it's some kind of either prostate cancer, bowel cancer. It's something down there, and those type of cancers are usually not very good and pretty quick, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens with that. But a lot of people were asking like what happens with Kamala. She would just be, she could take Queen Mother, but she's not actually obviously Charles and Harry's mom. So I don't know what her technical title would be after that, but if Charles unfortunately passes away or if he gets progressively bad and has to abdicate, then the title would go to, we would have King William.
Now, he hasn't been king very long, though, has he?
I think about 17 months, 15 months, something like that. A little over a year, yeah.
Yeah, so, because
but he's 70, he's in his late 70s, so.
I know, it's like,
we kind of thought he wasn't going to be there for that long, but his mom lived to be, what, 90-something, 98?
Yeah, she was up there in years, that's for sure.
But at least
with life would be like up there for them though.
Yeah, King William though, that would be cool. I've always been a William fan. I think he's a cool dude, and I like Kate. I think they would be a good king and queen.
We'll see what happens. I mean, once again, I mean, we don't understand primarily how kings and queens work because it doesn't quite work in this country. But you know, hey. They got their own system. As I said, I just can't imagine.
They're more celebrities than anything now. The parliament and the prime minister pretty much do most of it. But I believe the king is a member of the House of Lords, or he does something with parliament. So like he helps with decisions, but he doesn't do a whole lot more other than that. At this point, they're kind of just celebrities and royal figures, but they don't have a lot to do with the running of the country.
Wow.
Oh, we have Miss Pamela Amazon.
There she is.
Well, you're always my queen, babe.
Yeah.
But it's sad also. This is a father and a grandfather, so we wish him the best, and hopefully it's not anything aggressive, and he can still live out, you know, a nice healthy life. But
yeah, the rest was 5 years around with us.
Shit, if that's the case, then Biden's already got a freaking door in the. He's got a foot in the door.
Yeah, it's competition now between Biden and Prince and King Charles now, isn't it?
Who's going first?
All right. Up next, we got this one here. You sent me here yesterday.
This one
Firefighter.
made me really sad. You know, there's something I gotta say about 9/11. The kids today, like my little brother's generation, man, the kids born after 9/11, you can just tell they were born after 9/11. Like they just don't get it. Um, and they never got to see how beautifully united our country was, like right after that. Like for the
Mhm.
first time in a long time, like people didn't give a shit about the small stuff. We had like a common enemy and a common something in common that we were Americans, right? That was a good thing.
It is amazing how after 9/11 how quickly we got divided again, and relatively soon, because yeah, this moment right here where George W. Bush was up there with the bullhorn saying, we got your back, we're going after him, all this stuff, and then all of a sudden,
The
then
people who took down these towers will hear you. That was a great
yes.
speech. I got to give Bush that one.
Oh, you know what? If there was ever a time where George W. Bush looked more presidential, it's probably that time because he looked like a real leader. And once again, I like George W. Bush. I like what he's done after being the president. I like what he's done, you know, just in general. I think he's done so much more as a former president to where I can really respect him. Even Clinton, for that matter. I mean, for the things that he's done after being the president, I can really get behind it.
That he kind of got a shit into the stick. Like this happened 9 months into his presidency. Like that's a big thing to happen right off the bat.
Well, yeah, but if you remember, coming up on election season for a second term, that's when they got Bin Laden. Or no, I'm sorry, that's when they got Saddam Hussein,
Yeah.
and that really helped secure his second term.
It might have been a
So
lot closer without that because at that point, when people start to see, I think when people start to see war in and of itself, like on TV, and they start to see what really goes into it and the people that get hurt, and people start to kind of, okay, maybe this isn't a great idea, or they want a plan, they want to, you know. But this moment right here was awesome.
but as you said, the thing here isn't almost the moments. The firefighter stood next to him at Ground Zero. He passed away recently, 91 years old. 91 years old, and you got to
Bob
figure,
Beckwith,
and this took place. Bad with math here, so
22,
I
almost
mean,
23 years
so
ago.
if it's 2024 now and it was 2020, it was 2001 then. We're talking like 45 years ago, and
Yeah, 22, almost 23 years ago, which is insane to think about.
which he looks good there. So I mean, you can't really tell that much from that picture, but he
Yeah,
wouldn't
that would
look
have
like he.
been 20 years ago. He was already what? In his late 60s right there then?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and he's there fighting it with him. So, but a lot of people who were former firefighters, whatever. I mean, they all jumped to the cause of that time too. So a lot of people just really got up after it and tried to do what they could. Have you seen that movie? The movie World Trade Center with Nicolas Cage.
No, but I want to. I haven't watched a lot of the like cinematic ones. I've watched a bunch of documentaries on it, but not
It,
a
it,
lot of
it,
movies.
it wasn't a bad movie. Really depressing, but then again, so was 9/11. But I remember watching it and going, "Huh, that's gotta suck," because
You know what movie had a crazy surprise ending that like they randomly tied 9/11 into it? It was called Remember Me with it's got Robert Pattinson.
okay.
And the movie's about like just like this young guy in his early 20s or whatever, and his dad's like a big wig businessman, and the son's kind of trying to find himself, and he falls in love with this girl that's kind of wacky and what's the word I'm looking for? Like she's like hippie-ish. But he ends up giving in at the end and like getting a job, like a corporate job for his dad or whatever. He's not really happy about it, but he goes to do it. And the dad uh at the end of the movie, the dad like spoiler alert, the dad like pulls up and the he's in like a taxi and everyone's getting out of the cars watching the plane come in,
Mm-hmm.
and you see Robert Pattinson like looking out the window, and then it's the picture of the plane hitting the tower. He was in the tower.
Oh damn.
So his son ends up dying in the
Nah.
9/11.
Hmm.
It was interesting. Like I was like, oh, they worked that one in.
All right. Well, there was one with Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock where you think the two of them together in a movie would be awesome, but they hardly ever shared the screen together. And it was like he was a husband that was caught up in the World Trade Center, and he jumped to his death or whatever, and then she just had to put the pieces together or whatever. I mean, it was such a boring movie. I couldn't tell you the premise of the movie, but once again, you say Tom Hanks, Sandra Bullock, how can you go wrong? Well, they did. So it wasn't great, but
Can you just think about that though? Like that decision of, okay, do I want to turn around and burn to death, or do I want to just jump out of this building? And I know no one's
you're
catching
gone
me.
either way, right? So go on your own terms.
Like that decision making process had to been insane, and to be one of the people that, I mean, imagine if you're sitting on the ground, if you're one of the people on the ground watching, and you just sit there and watch someone just splat and right in front of you. That's
Yeah,
gotta be
because
insane.
I mean, just how bad it messes with you mentally at that point. Just having to see that alone. I mean, dude, there's there's so much that came out of that entire day. We all remember where we were, those of us that were alive when it happened. So I mean, we all remember what we were doing when it happened, and
That's what
remember
I
how.
meant about like the my brother's generation, like not really understanding the
Mhm.
impact of 9/11. Like that shit was real. Like if you were alive when it happened, it was just a different experience than learning about it in a textbook or whatever. Like
Well,
there
you
was
know,
people not knowing where their family was for
right?
weeks, because I mean the amount of rubble, you were pulling bodies out for weeks. Um the buildings that got hit next to it, the conspiracy theories that still go on to this day.
Yeah.
Um there's just so much to it that just you don't understand unless you were there.
There is something really sick though about this culture where there are people who are still trying to make money off 9/11. That's what bothers me more than anything. The conspiracy theory people, ones that just can't sit there and just
Oh, it was
let.
a demolition. Look at the way the building
Oh,
fell.
I don't know Jesse Ventura. I mean, I love Jesse Ventura as a governor, but as far as his radical ideas of who killed JFK and who took down the buildings 9/11, it's just all like he found his niche, and he's always been that way, as I understand. But he's just very much just like Jesse. You're going to talk, people are going to hear you because you got that voice that no one can get away from. Okay, I get that, but we can also tune you out too. So, and a lot of people have. That's why he can't keep a job anywhere else.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Like
and let's see here. And of course, you gave me this one here recently.
we're rapid firing today. Huh?
We are rapid firing.
So obviously, we've been talking the last week or two about the stuff going on in the Middle East. Well, Biden finally sort of did something about it. Um, I say sort of because this sometimes you wonder, like, is it a little bit too late, like too little too late, um
Right.
but this article reads, the U.S. has begun retaliatory strikes on targets in Iraq and Syria after the deaths of 3 U.S. service members at the hands of Iran-backed militant groups. White House and Pentagon confirmed. The U.S. Central Command, also known as CENTCOM, struck more than 85 targets with aircraft, including long-range bombers, hitting Iran's paramilitary force and groups associated with it. Um, Friday's attacks on targets in Iraq and Syria are the first wave of retaliation for the 3 U.S. service members who died in a drone attack by the Islamic resistance in Iran on Sunday, impacting a military base in Jordan. Um, President Joe Biden said in a statement, our response begins today. It will continue at times and places of our choosing. I guess meaning they're just going to strike when they feel like it and keep them on their toes.
Mm-hmm.
At 4 p.m. on February 2nd, CENTCOM forces conducted airstrikes in Iraq and Syria against Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, also known as the IRGC. The Quds Force and affiliated militia groups. U.S. military forces struck more than 85 targets with numerous aircraft, to include long-range bombers flown from the United States. So, I mean, at least they're finally doing something, but is it too little too late? Are they going to take your threat seriously and back down? Or do they feel like they can still kind of push the envelope because it took you this long to respond? What do you think?
I mean, on one note, we're finally doing something, right? So I mean, we're finally putting our birds in the air and doing what we have to do, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so I mean, if we did nothing, we got more to bitch about, right?
that's for sure.
So I mean, you know, once again, you and I can never understand what that job entails. How many people he has to go through to make things happen, you know? And I mean, you would think you're the president, you have put your finger on the button, you can do whatever you want to do. That's not always the case, you know. I mean, you have to go through groups and sections and everything else that makes you have that kind of power. You have to go through all that. So I don't know what Biden's had to go through. I don't know if they go to him on anything for that matter. But for him to come out and do what he had to do, good for him. I mean, is it too late? Maybe, but then we go back to 9/11 talk. We knew all about these guys ahead of time, yet we did nothing. Now all of a sudden, 4 planes go down in one day, and now we're gonna retaliate. So it sucks having that job.
Yeah,
Because you're always gonna miss something, and sometimes it can cost people lives.
unfortunately,
Um,
yeah.
There's a movie called The American President with Michael Douglas, and he
Great
talks
movie.
about great movie, and he talks about having to be the guy that sentenced the janitors to his death because he had to retaliate based off whatever was going on at the time. And he's like, imagine having to be the guy that's responsible for killing the janitor. So he's going to go to his work, just clean the building, and you know his wife and kids are probably saying, hey, we'll see you tomorrow. But because of a decision he makes, that father does not get to go home anymore. Now I'm not saying that that was actually a real case here in this case, but I'm just saying you have to look at it from a grander scope, right?
Yeah.
We retaliated, we made some noise, good. Don't piss us off. We got weapons of mass destruction more than you can ever imagine, so don't piss us off. Same time, the people are being sacrificed for it, and that's the thing that bothers me more than anything is yeah, there's a lot of bad people in this world, a lot, and it ruins it for all the good people, and unfortunately, could mean death in some cases. So there's always that thing you have to kind of factor in a little bit when you think about, do we react in time? I'm like, well, I mean, look, that is a hard job to think about having. That's why I don't think someone who is 76 years old should be in office because that's a lot of wear and tear on a guy like that.
Yeah, look how much it aged Obama that first 4 years.
Oh, I know. He's got nothing but white hair now.
Like that job ages you, man.
Right. So, it's a tough gig, and that's why no matter who the president is, and that's why I never. I mean, even when Trump was in office, I'm like, I can't imagine what kind of hell he has to go through to make a decision out there. And knowing that Trump makes his own decisions and is pretty much just rapid fires. Yes, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and we can make fun of his voice and everything else, but he has to answer to the same people that Biden answers to. He has to answer to the same people that Clinton had to answer to, same people Bush had to answer to during 9/11. He had to answer to the same people that Obama had to go through. So there's such a chain of command of how these decisions get made. It all falls on him because he's the guy who told him to do it. But at the same time, you go through different loops of what about this, what about that, what about this, what about that, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna sacrifice that, and then we're gonna sacrifice this. This might happen up here. There's so many different points of interest with that. And of course, you get the radical rights and the radical lefts who sit there and go, well, you're always wrong. Okay, sorry. I mean.
Well, that's what I used to joke, like the mainstream media with the way they treated Trump during his administration. Now, Trump is obviously Trump, and I'm not his biggest fan. And if he learned to shut his mouth on occasion, the world would be a better place. But I will say that they were obnoxiously like mean to him, and every move that he made, like if he picked his nose, it was on CNN. And I used to joke like Trump could cure cancer, and they would be talking about all the jobs at the pharmacies being lost. like,
Right.
like they would not give him credit for nothing.
No, I know.
Uh,
But that's the same thing with you know other presidents too. Like you know if if Obama did something that most of the country was aware of and like really respected, there's that little person that they'll sit there and go, yeah, but this, how dare
Tucker
him?
Carlson.
Yeah.
I
So
can't stand Tucker Carlson.
no, I can't either. I had to listen. When I was a truck driver, my only reference of Tucker Carlson was he would be a guest appearance on the Bubba the Love Sponge show on the Howard Stern network, and you know, and Bubba would give him all sorts of hell. This is the same person that filmed Hulk Hogan having sex with his wife, so this is you know not the best place to find your news, but yeah, it was. I mean, that was my only frame of reference to Tucker Carlson, and then all of a sudden he became such a star during the Trump administration that you know, my question is he a newsman or is he now a star? You know, because you know, at one time Larry King became
I would say he's a star.
bigger.
He likes drama.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like you know, Larry King became bigger than just the interviewer. He became Larry King. You
Hmm.
know, and then he became Larry King, the garlic guy, and the guys that married 7 different times with their voice is gonna drive you crazy. And you're like you know, if you took a terrorist, he says, "We want to get all the information we get from you." Yeah, Larry, bring in Larry. You know, just let him just grill him with his voice. You're going, okay, just go away. I'm sorry, I know everything. So yeah, it's crazy, but
I have a really funny story to tell today, though. I was going to tell it yesterday, but yesterday was such a cluster for me. I had so much to do.
right, go ahead.
So, someone on the like town, you know how like Facebook will have like town pages where people talk and post stuff and whatever on Facebook.
Right.
Well, someone had posted this picture from the Historical Society, and it was like a picture from like the early 1920s of my town. And in the thing, they're like, if you know, if this is inappropriate or offensive, like take it off. I just thought this picture was cool, or interesting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking at it like, what's offensive? And I'm like, I'm looking at all the buildings, and I'm trying to figure out like, okay, that's California Street, and that's the old Crest building, and da da da. You know, I'm like looking at the buildings, trying to figure out like where in town they were.
Mm-hmm.
It took me about 10 minutes before I actually looked at the crowd and realized that it was a Klan rally.
Ooh, miss on that one.
So you see like people lining the streets like a parade, and the people walking through the middle are all in their white hoods and shit. And I was like, oh.
That's boy,
Oops.
that's a good sign having your blinders on. I was like, oh, there's California Street. Oh, there's Klan member. Oh, Klan member. Ooh. Look at that page.
I commented on it. I was like, I'm a little embarrassed how long it took me to realize the Klan just standing there. Because I was looking at the buildings.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I showed Marcus and he started laughing. He was like, I didn't even see that at first. I was looking at the buildings too.
Right.
But it was, oh my god, that was so funny. I was like, man, how did I miss that? And then, of course, you know, you had the people commenting on it like, oh, you know, you should put a trigger warning because this might be traumatic to some people. And I'm like, there ain't no one alive anymore that was in this fucking picture. So shut the fuck up. Like, history isn't there for you to like or dislike. There's good history and bad history. We have to acknowledge it all. The picture is just interesting, you know, because you get to see the town from years ago. And yes, the Klan rally part isn't fabulous, but we also know that it took place. It's not like it's any, you know, there's a picture around that same time period of them posted up in front of the courthouse like it's a school picture or something. So it's like, we know that it happened. We know they were there. You know, it is what it is. You acknowledge it and you move on. The picture itself
Right.
was interesting because it was interesting to see the town, what it looked like back then. And that's the only part I was looking at. I didn't even pay attention to the damn people in the crowd for a good 10 minutes looking at that photo.
See,
And I was like, oh,
see, I was thinking about that, and I was wondering if there's a picture of anywhere in Carrollton, Texas, Frankfurt Road and Josie, where they have the old Skaggs Alpha Beta there, the old grocery store before it became, or it eventually became Albertsons. And now I'm not sure what it is now. I think it was because I remember it was Skaggs Alpha Beta, then became Joel Osco, then became Albertsons, and then I think now it's some like Asian grocery store now. I think so, but I mean it's just a turnover of how that whole thing. I mean, I know there's pictures of back when Josie and Rosemead was like under construction. They're putting a 7-Eleven and a Burger King and a strip mall that. What I eventually had a car store there, but we had a Tucker's Cleaners because my friend Troy Tucker's dad was going to own a laundry mat type thing there,
mhm.
and so I wonder if there's like old pictures of that being built up back then. I'm sure there is. We just don't know where they're at. But yeah, good times, good times.
That picture cracked me up though. Like, not to say obviously the Klan is funny, but it was hilarious to me that it took me that long to realize it because I was just sitting there like oogling the buildings, being like a history nerd, trying to figure out where in town they were at, not paying any attention to the crowd.
Right.
I was like, "Oh, look, it's the old it's the movie theater."
Well, we had some sad news today as
Oh, this
woke
broke my
up
heart.
woke up and saw that Toby Keith has passed away today.
No. He was
Age
looking rough there
62.
at the end though.
He was. But he now completes 2/3 of a trifecta as we also lost Carl Weathers from a couple days ago, former or actor, Paula Creed, played in The Mandalorian, a few other things he's been a part of. And so it's just really one of those sad moments where, like, Toby Keith, I mean, yeah, he's known for me as the boot in your ass singer. Yeah, but that's why I know him. But then, of course, I also work at a place where his restaurant's there too. So, I wonder how they're gonna commemorate his passing today.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
He had a really aggressive form of cancer. Like you could see over
it got
the
him really
last
quick too.
year. Yeah. He got skinny and frail. And I was like, he didn't even look like the same dude.
Well, if this cancer thing really hits King Charles good, you picture a 3-bedroom apartment with Toby Keith, Carl Weathers, and King Charles. Like one of these things is not like the other.
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
That would be
so
that would be a room full of a lot of different views and life experience.
right. And I got news for you. My money's on Apollo Creed.
Toby Keith had one of my favorite music videos, the in the Trailer Hood. Did you ever hear that song?
Which one's that?
The Trailer Hood.
I need to take a listen.
Oh my god. It is. I wish we could play it right now. That video cracks me up because it makes me think of Texas. Because
Right.
there's a part where he like straps himself into a lawn chair, grabs a 6-pack, and you can see like like a tornado in the background. He was like, grab your 6-pack and a lawn chair, there's a tornado coming. And it reminds me of all my neighbors that every time there's a tornado warning, everyone's outside looking for it and shit. Like no one out here, everyone they're so used to it, they're not even afraid of them half the time. But easy on the Texas dog girl. Hey, I'm spitting facts right now, Pam. Okay.
No, it ain't you. No, but no, it's
Oklahoma, I would imagine is the same way, but it's like everyone's just like. But I love that. I love that song. The music video is hilarious. It's like a bunch of stuff that's going on in a trailer park.
all right. So anyway, but let's see, we got a comment here. Who's this?
Pamela.
Easy on the Texas Dog Girl. Hey, she's from Cali. What do you expect?
If the shoe fits.
Yeah. Well, once again, nothing in the way of sports today because we got the big game coming up on Sunday, and I'm so tired of hearing. I heard this past Saturday when one of our referees, one of the referees, a big San Francisco 49er fan, and and he's like,
40 whiners.
"Oh,
You got to say it right.
no, he's over there saying, "Oh God, I'm so tired of this because the game's already rigged. They're going to give it to the Swifties," and they're going to like, dude. Shut up. I mean, I almost want the Niners to win just so he shut so people like him will shut up and go, "Look, you got your damn win. Be quiet." But
No, because then all you're going to hear about is how they were robbed last year because of their injuries and stuff, and they would have won last year too if it wasn't for da 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 da, and the Eagles didn't deserve it, and da 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 da.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that too. So I mean, you have to deal with the.
That's why we call them the 40 whiners, because all they do is bitch.
The 40 whiners.
What does Pam have? Pam has to say something.
She's like,
I'm wearing my boots. Cowboy boots or those pretty black ones that you bought? She bought these really cute boots on sale, and I was so jealous.
By the way, for those who are following us on Instagram, and I know that y'all love the way I do the whole, the _ daily under whatever. But for y'all to keep following us, and obviously we have a nice turnout tonight. We've got 3 people watching us right now. It's awesome. Normally they catch us on the repeats. Let's see here. To be honest,
hey dudes. Hey dudes to me are the new Crocs. Like, have you noticed? Like, everyone's wearing them. It's all you hear about. Like, hey dudes are the new Crocs. And I have never worn a Croc, nor have I worn a hey dude. Apparently, I'm not up with the times.
Right. So,
I miss Payless. Do you remember Payless?
Oh yeah, they're still around though, aren't they?
No, they went out of business a couple years ago, and I was really depressed about it because they had these moccasin slipper shoes things that I wear everywhere, and they are the most comfortable shoes. And now I can no longer. I've been wearing the last 2 that I bought before they closed down, but they're on their way out, and I'm like, man, I can't replace them this time. I'm so sad. I wear those everywhere.
Do they have like an online presence where you can actually buy stuff online through them?
I don't think so. No, I think they completely shut down.
Well, let's find out.
Google.
Yes, I'll say it. You know what? Let's ask our 3rd co-host. Siri, is there a Payless shoe store anywhere in the world?
Okay, here's what I found.
No, permanently closed in Ardmore. So, no.
It's really depressing. I loved their shoes. I mean, they were cheap and they were cheaply made, but I don't like spending a bunch of money on shoes. Like,
yeah, I never understood the idea of spending $300 on a pair of Michael Jordan shoes just to put up in your closet.
Yeah, like if I'm wearing, I'm buying shoes to wear them, and I don't want to buy something that's $200 that I'm gonna run into the ground. It just feels not worth it. Like, if I'm gonna spend $200, I want a nice ass dress that I can wear a bunch of times or something. But shoes that I'm gonna be wearing a bunch, and especially tennis shoes, I'm like, why? No, I'm not spending that kind of money on that. What did Pam say?
Let's see here.
So my hey dudes are creepy. Listen, lady, nothing about you is creepy, and I will end this show right now and drive to your freaking job and smack you in the face if you don't shush.
Well, before you decide to do that, just real quickly, check out President Christine on Fit Trend. And her and Karen Ashley, they have their show they got going on. Take out the middle ground. New show dropped today, right?
Ish.
Ish. Okay.
I'm a little behind from homework.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair. Of course, check out Offshoots TV every Thursday night, 9 p.m. And of course, my buddy Cindy Clark has his own show on Sunday. And if you want to hear us, if you want to find us, you want to know what we're all about, Follow us on Facebook at the Daily Grind. There's a lot of daily grinds out there, so just look for the picture of the two of us, and you'll know you're at the right place. That's pretty much a given there. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Best way to find us, Daily Grind Trey, and you'll see our picture. Yes, enjoy that picture. Also, are you ready? Follow us on Instagram at _daily_grind _. Thank you. Anyway,
You're ridiculous. No, I've been trying to get caught up on episodes and stuff, but I've had so much homework the last couple weeks. Like these teachers this semester aren't playing, man. Like the first 3 weeks of class, I've had like 6 essays. And I'm just like, and this one teacher gives 2 quizzes every week. I'm just like, yo.
well, what was it? Yeah. Yesterday, like I'm going through my Facebook on my other account, and the people I do the wrestling show with, they're all putting all their promos online, and everything else, to check us out whenever. I'm like, guys, we now have an infomercial where you can actually send me your stuff, and I can throw that on there. Then put your videos out there after I've already aired the show. Give them a reason to watch my show because we're doing this for y'all.
Yeah.
And then like the one guy, he released 3 videos in a row of him taking one of my guys away from me, and I'm like, why didn't we space this out? We have a 3-week storyline right here. 1 week you show him giving him the contract in the parking lot. The next week he goes to your office, and the following week he signs on the dotted line. As opposed to now we have one long congruent video of him doing, of him getting ready to join you. He's like, yeah, I know, but the poster was already out about he was going to be tagging with so-and-so. I'm like, right, you and I could have had our own little storyline about how we're bickering, how we're playing tug of war with them. But instead, you just took them from me. So now I have to, figure out a way creatively to make this work. And, we'll do that. The problem is I'm doing all this right now with no matches from this past weekend online. And that's what's bothering me because I'm like, guys, it takes me a while to put these things together, okay?
Yeah.
We're waiting until, remember, Thursday, 7:05 p.m. It's now Tuesday, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to get it together, guys.
Yeah, because do bear in mind, I have other things I need to try to do, like update the Outshoots TV, YouTube
Our
page
shorts and stuff. Yeah.
our
Okay.
shorts, and I got a lot of things I have to do. It's in the hopper, and I don't have there's not enough hours in the day to do it. So
I feel that. That's like this homework. I still have one more quiz to take, 2 more quizzes to take. I was gonna finish them up yesterday, and then one of them was like, because usually, like, if it's just like question and answer quizzes, like multiple choice, I can usually deduct like the right answer from there because I know the other ones are wrong. But this one had some essay questions, so I was like, no, I got to finish my reading before I do the essay questions, or I'm not gonna know what the hell I'm talking about.
Right.
I hate essay questions.
Not fun. Not fun
No,
at all.
and especially when it's the first time doing them for a different teacher, then you're like, I don't know what exactly you're looking for or how you grade this, or like I
Right.
had one teacher and I was pissed because it was the last test of the class and it ended up dropping me from an A to a B in the class, and I was pissed because it was my first B. But we had never had, up until this point, it had only been multiple choice question quizzes, and the last like test was 3 essay questions. So I had no idea how he grades this, what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did my absolute damnedest on these questions, and I got like 150 out of 250. He dropped me like 100 points. And then his answers, he wanted super specific answers to like really vague questions. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I got something in my eye. But I'm like, how am I supposed to know that? And then I couldn't even like write him and ask him anything afterwards because he, like I said, was the last test of the thing. And so by the time he posted the grade, it's like when the grades by the teachers were due and they were submitting the final report, and there was nothing I could do. Like, so I couldn't even like ask to retake it or ask him any questions on it because it was like the class was done. And I was like,
you're stuck.
I was so mad because I had like a 95 in that class, and then that dropped me to like an 89, and I was so mad.
Come on, I need to be a good lawyer because I might need to use you for once in a while.
Dude, everyone needs to use me. You know how many people that have me on retainer at this point?
Right?
You guys need to start paying up. Yo,
That's
I got
right.
an eyelash in my eye, and I'm dying. No, yesterday, like there was actually quite a bit of news for today. I mean, obviously, it's not stuff that we could talk about for forever. Like, obviously, King Charles like having cancer isn't exciting, or well, it's not exciting. Like, it's not.
Well, to some people it could be.
I'm sure the people in Britain are
Listen,
interested in it.
listen. I'm pretty sure King Charles on somebody's Deadpool right now. Okay, he's like, will he make it through the year?
Honestly, yeah. Like, I don't know. And they didn't tell us what kind of cancer it is, which I think means that it's probably not a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was like one of those cancers where it's like, oh, a couple chemotherapy treatments, like, or we'll take it out and he'll be good. Do I need to start billing people? Yes. Pamela
Yes.
Emma is my my assistant.
Yeah.
If you need me, go to Pam.
There you go.
So for them to not announce it makes me feel like it's probably a more aggressive type.
There's two people that I see pictures of nowadays, and it makes me so sad 'cause I know the end is near. That's Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman.
Oh, I love me some Morgan Freeman. That's how I started to feel with Betty White. Like when
Yeah.
she was like approaching that 100th birthday, I was like, it's almost time. And then she died like right before her 100th birthday. I was like, damn.
Yeah, but I mean, both of them are. I think Morgan Freeman's in his 80s, Gene Hackman's in his 90s, and it's just and I love me some Gene Hackman. I mean, from the first time I saw him playing Lex Luthor on Superman to, I mean, just the funny shit that he did with the Birdcage and just all the political stuff that he got all the political crime movies he got involved in, to the westerns he was a part of. I mean, I'm not a big Western fan, but then again, when he shows up, he's got such a presence either as a villain or even as a good guy. He always able to pull off the good guy as well. So, and I still haven't seen The French Connection either. So that's one of my bucket list movies I need to power through because it's aged so poorly now. I'm sure that it's one of those things where you got sign of the time, just sit down and watch it, and just be like The Godfather was that way with me. I'm like, come on, just get through it and just be done with it. And
You need to also finish that Candace Owens documentary so we can talk about it.
I've been
because that shit is like, I'm so mad.
I was talking to my son this past weekend. I was like, all right, well, I got you next weekend. What series movies we're gonna watch? Because last time we got together, we saw.
You guys should watch Lady Ballers.
No, no, but
it's hilarious.
Well, I'm not gonna watch with him, but we saw was Forrest Gump, The Replacements, Speed, and Life. So I'm like, what other three versatile movies can we watch this next time around? I'm like, hell, let's put on Lethal Weapons 1 through 4. But he likes those. Hey, those movies. It's funny. Those movies never. I mean, those movies are so good that there was never really a bad one. There was always lesser ones. They weren't bad though, So, I mean, almost like with Die Hard until they made the one where he went to Russia. That was pretty bad. But
it's like Nightmare on Elm Street. Like the first, I love the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but it was like it progressively got worse with each movie.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean,
like you can't beat the original, the OG with Johnny Depp and everything. Like it's just great. It's pure horror cinematic magic. But after that, it got weird.
It's kind of like Poltergeist. The first one was so great, and then they tried to capitalize off that with the second one that was okay. One exciting. Then the third one just got awful. So then, of course, the little girl who played Carol Ann died in real life, and that was like there's that series. But I'm surprised I haven't done a remake on that one yet, though, because you know how Hollywood likes to remake a lot of movies.
They remake everything.
I know.
Getting anything new out of Hollywood lately is like pulling teeth.
That's why, like movies like Wedding Crashers, when that came out, I'm like, this is actually a genuine good movie here because it's funny, it's an original thought, and Actually actually had a good beginning, middle, and end to it. So it was actually pretty good. That was a long
And a
time
kind of
ago.
a hidden message in there,
A little bit. So I mean, it got to the point. Like I'm a big Robin Williams fan, but so someone asked me to name my top 10 Robin Williams movies, and I draw a blank after the fifth or sixth one because I didn't like Hook. I didn't like a lot of movies that people like Jumanji. I didn't particularly care about.
Oh, I
So
love
I'm like,
Jumanji, but it's a childhood movie. I think that's
yeah.
why.
But
It's just
I'm
like Miss Doubtfire. When I watch it now, I'm like, this movie is absolutely retarded. But as a kid, I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
right. It doesn't hold up very well, but like he has some movies. But I mean, I love Robin Williams, but
I think he was a funnier stand-up comic than he
well,
was
he was,
as
but then you read the stuff about how he used to steal people's material, and you're going, damn it, I want to hear that. And then you hear that person's material and go, that's pretty on par, yeah, kind of. But then he would also pay those guys too. So I mean, he always made sure if he stole your joke, he pays you. So there was that.
Well, at least he was an honest thief.
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering all of his other faults that he had, that this is one of the things that he could do right for everybody. But I mean, he did a lot of things for the USO, and did a lot of those. And one of the funniest things was he's sitting there doing the stand-up act, and then everybody stood up and turned about face to him.
Oh, I remember that.
He's like,
they were doing
never had that before.
The morning or the night like flag thing that they had to do.
Yeah, and then like he looks at, I never heard that before, where the whole crowd goes, forget you. But no, I mean, I was seeing like recently some of his best movies that I enjoyed, and like his earlier stuff, like The Best of Times with him and Kurt Russell, where they go back and play the old high school football game they lost 20 years ago or whatever it was.
I love Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it was real funny. My co-host Michael McCurdy tells me he swears up and down that Popeye is the best movie he's ever seen. I'm like, really? Popeye? I mean, when I was 4, I might have enjoyed it, but I don't know about now. But he's very hit and miss with a lot of certain movies. But again, funny person. He was so great on the talk shows. He go on the talk show, he was dominate and take over and do his own thing. So kind of respect that, and the idea that if you don't like the late night host, at least you brought him on there and you took the attention away from the late night host. So there was that. Well, that's going to do it for us today on the Daily Grind. Tomorrow, I'll probably start a little bit earlier tomorrow. What time do you want to
go? Probably like 8:30 to that way we do 8:30 to 9:30. My appointment's right at 10. So
okay.
But it's right here in town, so it's not.
Okay, we got the early Daily Grind tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's why wake up early and check us out, or watch the replay like a lot of people are doing.
Love you, Pamela.
And yeah, most definitely. And but by the way, guys, she has a very gentle touch. Just saying. Anyway, that's gonna do it for our show today. Y'all take it easy, and we'll see you all tomorrow. There's the exit.